This week, a bombshell in the corridors of power, a former police minister is accused of demanding a R1 million bribe and allegedly accepting cash payments in shopping bags. The man at the center, Matlala. If true, this isn't just another corruption scandal. It threatens the integrity of the police, the justice system, and the trust of millions of South Africans. I'm proudly patriot. This is Mzansi Citizen, and today, we bring you everything you must know.
I can't give you 1 million, but I can give you 300,000.
No, I didn't give him 300,000. I gave him 3, and then again I gave him 2, like I mentioned. And the day I decided to stop, I was supposed to give him 300,000 again. But that never happened. It's when I decided to stop taking his calls.
So, just to summarize, he wanted 1 million.
Yes.
And you made 2 payments to him of 500,000.
Yes.
And when the balance was demanded, you stopped.
Yes.
So let's go to the first occasion. When did he make his demand for 1 million? Was it before he came to stay at your apartment? Was it at your apartment or in your apartment?
Yes, at my apartment.
And were you accompanied from the bank to your apartment with such a huge amount of money?
No, I was not accompanied. I don't know if you know mainland Maine. You can actually walk from inside the center, the mall. You don't need to get outside the mall and go to my apartment. Okay. So you can just walk right inside and go upstairs with the elevator to the penthouse. So you don't need to get outside.
And I know you have your own personal VIP protection services company, but that was a huge amount of money to walk with. Was it in a bag, in a suitcase, in a Woolies bag, in some paper bag? How did you move that kind of money?
Yes, it was inside the Woolworths shopping bag.
Did you meet, and what was the purpose of the meeting, and what happened at the meeting?
Okay, I'll go back a little bit so that we can understand how did I get to end up meeting Mr. Mkhwanazi. When I was with Mr. Cele, and then because he kept on asking me for money, and then I told him that, listen, SAPS is not paying me in time, and then also I don't even get enough purchase orders, so I'm not making a lot of money. Though the contract is there, but I'm not making that money that you guys assume that I'm making. And then I told him that the person who's in charge of this contract, I think I'll say the custodian of this contract, is Lieutenant General Nkua. And then he said, yes, I know about your problem, but I think the best person that you need to talk to is General Mkhwanazi, because he's more closer than General Nkua than I am. So that's when then he arranged that meeting. So when I met with General Mkhwanazi, he said to me, yes, I hear about your problem that you're having, so that they don't give you guys enough work. They just send work in drips and drabs so that they don't breach their contract. But actually, if it was according to them, they wouldn't send any purchase orders at all. They just send small purchase orders so that they can just keep you entertained. So, but they're saying actually what they want to do is cancel this contract. So, and he said to me, they actually met. He said there was a police summit in somewhere in Emperor's Palace, and he's saying during that summit, after the summit, I think he said to me, General Nkua asked National Commissioner Fani Masemola that when are they actually cancelling my contract, and Fani Masemola said that. This is what I heard from General Mkhwanazi. Fani Masemola said that, listen, I spoke with the minister. Remember last year, December, he gave a directive that we must cancel this contract. But now I asked him that can I continue? And then it looks like he is begging down now. So National Commissioner Masemola, according to Mkonazi, he said, I suspect that this Mkunu is working with Sibia now, and then he no longer want to cancel the contract because I suspect that they will send this guy, meaning me, to come and kill me, and then they must put General Sibia as the National Commissioner. And Mkonazi said to me that, I said to National Commissioner that, Commissioner, if you think that your life is in danger, just say the word. I will take care of this cat. Then I asked him, what did you mean when you say that he must just say a word and then you will take care of me? And he told me that there is only one way that I can take care of you permanently. But he didn't say it in like kill you, but he just said to me that there is only one way that I can take care of you permanently. And I said, but what was the reason for that? Because he told me that they suspect that why will suddenly the minister decide not to cancel the contract anymore? But before that, he was the one actually who said we must cancel this contract. So he said to me, he told Fadima Samola that he will call the commander of special force and then they must give him a armored car from now on, because his life is in danger. And he was saying all these things to show me that General Nkoa was pushing for this contract to be cancelled. And then he said to me, Faila, that she's doing this because she was working with the previous service provider. And then they were giving her a lot of money. That's why she could afford to buy properties and convert them into B&Bs. And he even gave me one address of her properties, which I wrote it down later. And then when I came back to Pretoria, I went there actually to check the property, and then I even took a street number and pictures of that property that he said is one of the properties that she owns, and there's no way that she can afford such properties with a salary from SAPS. So now, if you want her to come and work with you, are you going to offer her the same incentives that Metropolitan was offering her? Then I knew that I was very in deep trouble than I thought I was. Because of now, he was saying, there is no way a woman like a general like her that she will just dump people who were offering so much money and come work with you. It's either when I tell her that she must come work with you, then you will continue doing what these people they were doing to her. And then, but he said, there's conditions though. I also want you to do something for me. And I asked him, what is it? He said, there is a case opened against him from in IPID. So he said there's a guy that they tortured, and the guy that they tortured opened a case against them, and then I must convince, because the guy stays, I also have a house in Mistream. So he said, because you stay in Mistream, I'll tell you the name of the guy and check if you know the guy. And I said, tell me, and then Mistream is not that big. Maybe I might know the guy. And he told me the name of the guy, and I told him, actually, this guy, his son goes to the same school as my son. So, but what I will do is, I will ask my wife to ask his wife if he can facilitate a meeting for me to meet the guy so that I can convince him. And he said, I must tell the guy that, listen, he must drop the charges against him, and also he must add that the people who actually compelled him to lay charges against him is Minister Mkunu and General Sibia. However, I couldn't get the guy and convince him to do what he wanted to do. And I thought maybe that was one of the reasons also that maybe I got arrested, because I didn't deliver what I promised him. So that was the purpose of my meeting with him there in the Pels.
The alleged underworld kingpin faced a barrage of questions, a 360 million rand SAPS contract, bribery claims and whispers of deep infiltration into law enforcement.
The PKTT.
On the Tembisa Hospital saga, he denied any role on the SAPS tenders. He dodged details.
The SIU, we know that the SIU is investigating or has investigated the Tembisa Hospital matter. Why is your name mentioned in connection with that tender?
I would love to know as well.
Then came the emotional moment. EFF leader Julius Malema relayed a plea from the mother of missing businessman Jerry Bushogha, begging Matlala to return her son.
You know very well, me and your son, we are very, very, very close friends. We've done a lot of things together, traveled together, me and his wife and my wife, and there was nothing that I will do to harm your son. Actually, your son was like a young brother to me. So there are people who are getting between us, trying to convince you that I took your son so that you might think of me as this bogeyman that people paint me to be. But from the bottom of my heart, I've never and I will never, ever do anything to harm your son or your family.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
Matlala insists he's never kidnapped Bushogha and never rode in blue light convoys and has no ties to Pretoria's feared Boko Haram's gang. Action SA MP Darylin James pressed him on firearm licenses. Democratic Alliance MP Glenys Breitenberg didn't mince any words.
If you could not collect all your firearms from Brooklyn because you were not the owner, because that's what we were told, right? Why did you proceed to launch a High Court application regarding all the firearms?
I was not the owner.
Yes.
Of what?
Of the firearms, of all the firearms, over 25 firearms.
Even now, I still have the licensed firearms of my firearms, and I even have the copies of the licensed firearms. They are registered under my name, under my company. So when you say they're not under my name, I do not understand. Or we can do this, if it's possible, I don't know, that I can arrange that tomorrow, I don't know where, then they can bring the licenses to check when were they issued and who did they belong to. They are mine. There's something I think
that is exactly what we should have had at this committee. We should have had the evidence of the SAP 13 book to verify your statement.
Yes, I think there's something that is missing there, but
Definitely.
I'm telling you honestly, those firearms, they belong to me. And then I have even the license of those firearms.
In my view, Mr. Matlala, you're not a businessman. You're a crook.
I am.
You're a thief, you're a fraud, and you're corrupt. And the problem in this country today is that people like yourself clothe yourself in the respectability of calling yourself a businessman when you are nothing but a dishonest thug. You make an illicit fortune by stealing from the poorest of the poor. It's people like you and your associates that have robbed generations of South African children of their futures. Shame on you, sir. I'm finished, Chair.
And that wasn't all. Matlala admitted meeting KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, a meeting allegedly arranged by Cele.
Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said he'll help you with your contract flow, but you needed to cooperate, because he was very close to General Nkuwa, who oversaw your contract. So what did you understand by him saying you needed to cooperate?
He explained further, but I understood that he said I need to give also them money so that they can work with me.
So are you accusing General Mkhwanazi of also seeking to extort money from you?
Not him. I'm saying he said I must work with General Nkuwa.
Okay, let me rephrase. Are you accusing General Mkhwanazi of encouraging you to do corruption?
I'm not accusing him. That's what he told me.
On Tuesday, SAPS CFO Puleng Dimpane revealed contracts worth 466 million rands were flagged during Matlala's 48 million rands payout.
This particular contract has caused a lot of harm for the department. There is reputational damage. The department is in disrepute. Yes, we have disclosed the 48 million as irregular, but we can't go on in this particular fashion.
Matlala remains behind bars at Kgosi Mampuru. Meanwhile, ad hoc committee chair Soviet Likhanyane confirmed a second extension, now until February 20th, to complete its probe.
The proceedings of this week here at Kgosi Mampuru were probably the last for this year. I have received a letter from the office of the Speaker I think the Chief Whip informed me that they have discussed amongst themselves as political parties and have agreed to grant the committee the last extension.
As South Africans wait for the next sitting, the clock is ticking and the revelations are far from over.
1. Who is Cat Matlala and what was the context? Quick recap: Matlala, alleged underworld figure, involved in tenders linked to SAPS and other state contracts. Long history of controversies and serious charges. Context: amidst ongoing investigations of police corruption and irregular tenders, Matlala was called before the ad hoc committee probing law enforcement corruption. 2. The alleged bribe demand, what Matlala claims. Matlala claims that former Police Minister Bheki Cele asked him for a 1 million bribe. When Matlala could not raise the full amount, he paid 500,000 rands, split into two payments, 300,000 rands in January and 200,000 rands in March. He says the payments were made in cash, delivered in Woolies bags, and claimed as a facilitation fees by Cele for intervening to stop police harassment and help recover his seized firearms. 3. What was promised in return, and the alleged pressure. Matlala testified Cele offered protection, stopping harassment, returning firearms, halting raids by the Political Killings Task Team, PKTT. But according to Matlala, Cele kept demanding more money for cars, house, and family expenses. When Matlala tried to distance himself, stopped calls, declined further payments, he claims the pressure and harassment resumed. 4. Why this matters, implications for SAPS, justice and democracy. If a senior politician can demand bribes in cash for protection from police action, it shows deep rot at the heart of law enforcement. Money changing hands in bags, secret deals, selective justice, this undermines public trust, erodes accountability, and threatens democracy. For ordinary South Africans, if policing is negotiable, then safety and justice become privileges, not rights. Corruption becomes a tool to shield criminals, not punish them. 5. The tangled web, what we know, and what remains unproven. So far, Matlala's testimony under oath. Documents, cash withdrawals from his business account, claims of Woolies bag handovers. Challenges, only one alleged witness, now deceased, no independent record of the handovers. MPs on the committee have raised doubts over the claimed amounts. That's why this matter must be fully investigated: forensic audits, witness statements, accountability, public transparency. A cash-filled bag, a whispered meeting, a demand for 1 million, but only half paid. Whether Cat Matlala's claims stand up or fall apart, one truth remains: this country cannot afford a corrupt police system. We must demand answers. Transparency. Accountability. Justice. Share this video. Spread the truth. Hold leaders accountable. If you believe in justice, subscribe to Mzansi Citizen and stay informed. Because silence is complicity.